Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a headband that fits your American Girl doll or you. Okay, so I am using this Just Premier yarn from the Dollar Tree. It's a medium number 4. This particular color is Ballet Slipper, and I am using the recommended hook size, which is a 5.5 millimeter. So to get started, I'm going to start with a slip knot. In order to do that, I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to hold it in this hand, and then I'm going to extend a loop or a square. So I hold this piece of yarn right here, and then with the bottom of my hand I hold this piece of yarn, I stick this hand in the middle, and then I'm going to flip it so I have an X. Then I'm going to go under that X with my thumb and these fingers, and then simply pull through, and there's a slip knot. Then I'll slide it onto my hook. If you didn't get that, you can back up and watch it again, or you can do a slip knot another way if you know how. Okay, and then to start off, we're going to chain. So in order to chain, you yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. So there, I've chained 3. I'm going to attempt to chain about 20, and then we'll measure the circumference of our doll's head and see if it fits. Okay, so there I have 20. I can already tell it's not going to be big enough, so I'm going to go ahead and do 15 more, so I'll stop at 35. Okay, so here I have my chain of 35. I'll go ahead and see how long that is. If I have it stretched all the way, it's almost, I'd say 11 inches. So I'll grab my doll as well. So this is Julie. She's an American Girl doll. I'm just going to wrap my chain around her head and see if it fits. And it doesn't quite look like it's going to with her hair. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 5 more. We'll see what the circumference of her head actually is. So we're at 11, so we need at least another inch. Okay, so now I have a complete chain of 40. Go ahead and measure it on your doll. She might have more hair, or she might be a different brand, and their heads could be different sizes. But 40 is a good standard one and should probably fit any doll. So once you have that chain completed, then we're going to start from the second chain from the hook. So as always, the loop that the hook is in doesn't count. So this would be the first chain and this would be the second. And we're just going to do single crochets. So to do that, we're going to insert our hook into that stitch. We'll yarn over and pull through, and then we'll have 2 loops on our hook, and we'll yarn over and pull through those 2. So that was a single crochet. We'll do it again. We'll go into our loop, yarn over, pull through, come out 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through. So we're going to work that all the way across into every stitch a single crochet. Okay, and as you come to the end, we'll go ahead and finish up the last stitch with a single crochet. And then what we're going to do is chain 1 and turn our work, and then we're going to skip that first stitch, or the first chain from the hook is what it would be. So we're skipping this one and we're going into this one with a single crochet, and then we're going to repeat that all the way across until we come to this end. So just do single crochets again. Once again, once you get to the end, chain 1, turn your work, and then start your single crochets in the second chain from the hook. Repeat this until you get your headband to the thickness that you want. The one I'm making for Julie, I chose 1 inch. Alright, and here's Julie with her headband. She's got the 70s vibe going on. If you want to make this dress that she's wearing, be sure to subscribe because I'll show you how. All right, back to our headband. This one is a different one. You can try it out with different stitches. This one, I believe I used a double crochet. So you could do any stitch you want and it will give it kind of a different pattern. You can also make them for yourself or your kids or your grandma. So just when you start out, measure the circumference of their head and then find out how many chains you need to do, and then do the desired width according to how long you want it to be. So once you get your headband base, then we are ready to connect it together and do the twisted X. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold our headband in half, if you will, like the hot dog way. And then we're going to take the ends of our headband, and you want to leave your tail ends on because we're going to use those to weave our headbands together. So you have your tail ends folded in half, and then you're going to stick them inside each other like so. Okay, so I'm going to show you that with a piece of paper, just because for visual purposes it's going to be easier. So here's your headband. Fold it in half the hot dog way. Then, because it's paper, it's going to be harder, but bring your ends together, talking to each other, and then bring them in, and they're going to kiss. And of course they would match up. My paper's not quite long enough and your yarn would just fold in, right? And then we're gonna stitch this part together, okay? So let's go back to our yarn. I'm gonna go ahead and thread my yarn with a yarn needle so that I am ready to sew my ends together. If you don't have a yarn needle, you could just use a regular needle and thread, and you could sew it together with thread instead of the tail end of your yarn, also if you cut it off too short. So here we go, fold it in half, bring in my kiss together, and then it's overlapping, and then I have my needle ready. So, oh, it's not quite. If I had a little bit more yarn, it would work better. So if you cut yours off too short, just thread a regular piece of yarn that's not attached, and then you'll have plenty of room to work with it, which actually might be what I'll end up doing. All right, here I have my needle threaded with an exuberant amount of yarn. I went overboard because I didn't want to not have enough. Okay, so then you can just start on any end and just make sure that you go through all the layers that are folded over. So you're going through 4 layers. And I should have tied this in a knot before I started. Okay. So go one direction and then go back the other direction, and then go back the other direction until you get to the end, and then go ahead and tie a knot so it doesn't come undone. Okay, and then you can cut off your excess yarn. So I'm gonna leave a little bit so I can weave those ends in so it doesn't come undone. But I'll show you real quick. Once we flip it over, there is our little twisted X. So I'll weave these ends real quick. I'll actually show you with one how to do it, just in case you need to know how. So again, just thread your needle, your yarn needle, and then go through one direction, and then go not quite back. So go a little bit over and then go back the other direction, and then go one more time the opposite direction again. so you're sure it doesn't come undone. And then you can go ahead and trim that off, as if you cut it off at the knot and not weave it in, sometimes it comes undone. And then we can just flip this over, and there we have our headband. Like I said before, you can try out different stitches, different widths, but the principle is the same. Just make a long rectangle and then bring it together with the kissies and stitch them together, and you get the Twisted X headband. Thanks for watching, guys.